Yeah, right?
You look like a professional.
You don't?
I look like I'm forced into being interviewed.
Like you're being held captive by like ISIS or something.
You're just like, all right, well, we just want to talk about your movie. And I'm like, yeah. What's your question?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 6th episode
I don't know.
of the Javae and Scott Name by Scott podcast.
Is his name by Scott like also in the name?
I like when I say it, that's how I say it because I don't want people to just think I was just a fucking asshole who just made the decision like my name comes first. So I don't want people to think that about me. I'm totally that type of person, but I don't want people to think that I am. I'm joking. How have you been, Scott?
I've been good. How about you?
I've been all right. I totally vegged out like I want to say an hour before this podcast, before we actually started doing this. I vegged out and started playing Skyrim for like the 2000th time, and I'm good. I'm good.
How's it going in there?
All right. I've been working quite a bit. I actually went to a recording for a wrestling show that a friend of mine runs, a very good friend of mine runs here in DC. And man, I miss wrestling so much. This pandemic has ruined everything, and and I realized how much I miss wrestling. I miss it a lot.
How was it being back there?
Well, first and foremost, I definitely like miss being able to see my friends who still wrestle on a regular basis. It was good seeing them again. And also like, man, I found myself like enthralled with all of the matches going on because it's been so long since I've seen wrestling in person. And out of everyone there, I felt like I was everybody there was a spectator. I was one of the only people there who it was like I didn't come in there planning to be involved beforehand or anything like that. So I felt like the only true like what you would call like a fan, like an audience there.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine there was no crowd because of COVID restrictions and stuff like that. But I felt like I was like the only one who was there as like a fan.
Cool though.
I got to do some announcing actually at the end of the show. That's the only capacity that I was involved.
Yeah.
Please put your hands together for Trish Adora! That's an introduction, boy. He smoked this. Big money, babe, boy.
Yeah. I got to announce the last two matches. So I got to announce
the game.
Yeah. And my homie is like, oh, look at you out there trying to get a job and shit. I'm like, fuck you. I got asked to do this. No, it was really a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. What about you? What have you been up to? You're one of the most like quiet people I know.
Yeah. That's because I don't do much. I'm very boring. I go to work, I come home, and then I either read or work on one of the many projects that we have.
Yeah. I told someone that if I was white, I would be you.
Hey, you know what? Don't say that about yourself.
I told someone if I was white, right? Because like there are people who actually watch this podcast that I talk to.
Mm-hmm.
They watch this podcast and they give me feedback on it, and they actually genuinely like it. And I tell them, I'm like, yo, Scott likes to say I'm the star of this shit. I'm not. You're clearly the star. Anybody who actually watches this shit will see that you are clearly the star of this show, right? And I go back and I tell people, I'm like, yo, some real shit. People think I'm cool. I'm not. Scott is cool. But if I was white, I would totally be Scott. And if Scott was black, he would probably be me. I'm telling you.
All right. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a compliment.
I appreciate that you think that's a compliment.
In reality, you were like, look, I have to admit something to you. If I was white, I'd be Scott.
No, I don't mean like that part as an insult. Like
Yeah,
you're one of the better white people that I know. So like that's definitely a compliment. I know some pretty cool white people, and you're one of the better ones.
So speaking about being a cool white person,
mm-hmm.
I drove for an hour and a half to see a movie.
Whoa. So you told me you went to see a movie. I didn't know you drove an hour and a half.
Yeah, because I really wanted to see it.
Where did you go?
It was Winchester, Virginia. I went to the Alamo Draft House.
Okay. Why did you choose to go all the way out there?
One, that was the closest place I was showing it.
Wow.
And two, I've heard a lot of good things about the Alamo Draft House. There's only like 40 locations in the U.S. or something like that.
There's only 20? 20?
40. Like 40 or
40. 40.
But it was a really cool experience. It's sort of like a dine-in type theater where you can order food, and they have like movie-themed stuff as well. Like you can get a Royale with cheese or like a White Russian.
A Royale with cheese?
I ordered one, yeah.
I kind of want to go there. Like, well, okay, here's the thing. I don't eat meat anymore. I definitely eat a Royale with cheese.
You would break it.
With the Sprite to wash it down. I would definitely do that.
Yeah, and also all of the previews. You know how like if you go to a normal theater, you see ads for TNT for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And like all the new action dramas that are coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So apparently they make theirs specific for the movie.
Okay.
Or for the most part they do. But it was so weird walking in there for the like previews. It was a lot of like anti-marijuana ads from the 1950s.
Really?
Yeah. And then they cut to the music video for Afro Man's Because I Got High. And then
wait.
Like
that is sick. The movie. So they had 1950s, I guess like cautionary marijuana commercials, like anti-marijuana commercials. And then they jumped from that to Afro Man Because I Got High. The actual music video?
Yes. With like Jay and Silent Bob, the whole thing.
Huh.
And I'm gonna make sure this is it real quick. Because I needed to know the name of it. Is this it? Yes, it is. They also showed the video for Soul Train dancing to Star Wars at a telethon. And they are going all out.
Is this meant to be a retro movie theater?
No, I think it's just like they promote it as like a movie theater from people who love movies. Like they once did a showing of Jaws with people in like canoes in a lake. shit like
This
that.
sounds real. I feel like I should have heard of this movie theater before.
There's only like, it started in Austin and then they started expanding. I looked into it in like the DC area. It's like in 50 minutes away.
Wow. Wow. Speaking of the DC area, how's your apartment search for moving
Good.
around here?
I submitted to the one place, but I'm also kind of looking out for like a roommate situation, because that would like drastically cut costs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm still just kind of like waiting to see if that option is out while I wait to hear back.
I got you. I'm sorry. So we got into that really quickly. Tell me about this film.
Okay. So it's The Amusement Park from George A. Romero.
Okay.
Horror icon. And before we started, the lady came up and she started talking about it. And she was like, well, he was actually hired to do this from the Lutheran Church. And it's supposed to be about ageism.
Mm-hmm.
And but he's so unique as an artist that he made a George A. Romero film about ageism where it's kind of terrifying.
Right. It's George A. Romero.
Yeah. It's from like the 70s. I think like 1973. But he made the film. He did it in like 3 days. It was only about an hour long. And whenever he finished it, he gave it to them, and they were like, "No, we're gonna shelve this. This isn't what we wanted."
Which is crazy. It's like, what did they expect? Like, what were they expecting from George A. Romero?
This was before Google, so that's my only defense.
Question. I had this thought before, right? And I never voiced it to anyone because I didn't know if anybody would quite understand where it was I was coming from with it. Maybe you can.
Okay.
Why does it seem to me like people from like, I want to say maybe the 80s and backward, I'll even say like the early 90s and backward, right? Why were they so fucking good at the horror genre? Why were they so good at it, and why are people so bad at it now? I mean, you have a few gems here and there, right? Like, the last amazing one I saw was Midsummer. I don't even know if you could call that a horror movie exactly, right?
Yeah.
Or Hereditary, both by Ari Aster, right? You have a few gems like that now. But back then, it seemed like people were really fucking good at it. Am I seeing old shit through like rose tinted glasses? Or was it really as good as I fucking remember?
I mean, here's kind of how I see it. Horror movies are good whenever they do something different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, the original ones, and then, into the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah.
There was like new avenues to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, here's a slasher, here's like a psychological horror.
Right.
Here's this, here's that. And as the decades go along, they're like, oh, we can also do this, we can also do this. And now we're kind of at a point where a lot of it's been done.
Do you imagine that there'll ever come a time where we get like new concepts or anything like that? Or like, do you think we've explored all that we can explore?
I think really the only new concepts we'll get is how it affects with like the time. Like whether it be with technology or like a public conversation.
You mean public when you say public conversation, do you mean like social commentary?
Yeah.
Okay. Get Out was another good one.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that was kind of horror. That was horror, right?
Yeah, I count that as horror.
Yeah.
But the horror of the amusement park was different.
In what way?
Because like here's the plot, and I think that only the lead actor was an actual actor. The rest were like volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he's in a white room, and he's like, I'm gonna go outside, and like walks out, and he's in an amusement park, and it's busy and it's crowded, and there's a bunch of young people like running around, and like no one's paying him attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then it follows that for a good portion of the movie, but just like metaphors for ageism, like they're all lined up to like sell their necklaces and stuff like that so they can get tickets to the amusement park.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's just sitting there like, I'll give you $5 for it. And we're like, this is silver. And he's like, $5. And they're like, fine. And then it just goes like on and on and on and on. In a good way. Like
Mm-hmm.
this one couple goes to see a psychic, and she's like, you have to see all your future. And they're like, that's fine. And so she's like, here's you dying. And there was one part that was goofy, a little near the end, but like it was not cheesy, but it's kind of like you expect it with these type of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Where he gets jumped by like 3 bikers, and they're like circling around him.
Okay.
And then they get out, and they're each holding a different weapon. And then to show how they're getting closer, it'll like it's still frames basically, but it cuts, so it would just like they're up here, then up here, then up here, and then they jump this old man.
What the fuck?
And,
I kind of want to see this. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
Never mind. The reason why I was so cool with like what you just told me about them all like popping out like that is I remember Mortal Kombat where Liu Kang is trying to fight Shang Tsung, and like Shang Tsung, you know, he had this power where he could use all use all the souls of the people he killed as like weapons and shit. Anyway, he summons like all these different warriors, and they pop up out the ground. They all have like these different weapons and shit. I thought of that, and Liu Kang has to fight them all. Anyway,
I mean, it looked less like that and more like an interesting Bruce Springsteen video. Like that's kind of the look that they had.
Bruce Springsteen, who by the way has a podcast with Barack Obama.
We're almost there.
Yo, we're doing numbers. Oh man. All right, so what do you rate this film? 1 to 10.
I'm not really looking at it technically, like as a technically good movie, because it was something that wasn't really meant to be seen.
Okay.
Got like brought out, but just for like enjoyment, I would give it an 8.
Okay.
I'd say it kind of has like climax feels where it like kind of brings you into his world, and the world's getting weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
But it's on like a much smaller scale.
Okay.
So I would say 8 out of 10.
Okay. I can't wait to hear back from people who actually go to watch Climax, because they talk to me about Climax, and I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to hear what they say after they watch it.
Maybe that's why you haven't heard back. They were just like,
and I didn't never want to talk to me again.
Yeah, they were just like, goodbye. Like,
oh man. Okay. What else do we have on the agenda for today?
Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather.
Boy, did you watch it?
I did. Yes.
Found the legal stream. I did. I don't care. I'll say it. A friend of mine actually found an illegal stream when I watched it.
I mean, obviously, us saying that we found a stream is us making a joke because this is a comedy podcast. But yeah, I found one too.
No, the law is watching this. Fuck you. I found an illegal stream.
No. Let me just jump in here and
oh man. Anyway, what did you think about it, man?
I have mixed emotions about it.
Go ahead. Ocho Cinco got knocked the fuck out. Did you see that?
The undercard dude, he didn't know what he was doing at all.
Apparently he was trained in boxing before this. I couldn't tell. And he got clocked. That other nigga, I don't even know who he is, but Ocho Cinco got his lights knocked out. Good night. But go ahead. What were you saying?
I was waiting. Well, I was waiting for a knockout of some kind
Mm-hmm.
in Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. I don't think it should have been 8 rounds.
No.
I feel like that's such a small amount for people who were gonna pay $50 for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of see it as like a win for both of them because first of all, they got millions.
It was a win for both of them and a loss for everybody.
Else.
Yes.
Like, good for Mayweather for securing the bag and getting it and being the person who's punched a Paul brother.
Mm-hmm.
And then good for Logan Paul because he went 8 rounds. And at the end of each one, he looked done.
Oh man, he was hurting.
He
was hurting. Floyd hit him with one of them body shots, and what was it, like the 5th round or something? And like when he went to his corner, he's grabbing the ropes and his head is down, like that boy was hurt. That boy was hurting.
But each round, he was like, "All right, let's." He was like, I'm going to get to the end of this. I will hug him to the bitter end. But
yeah.
So,
he hugged that nigga like he was his lover. Like, it was crazy.
He would like hit him once and then be like, no, don't retaliate, please.
Yeah.
But like, also I get it because it's Floyd Mayweather. And if you were fighting him, you would be like, look, I need to use any opportunity that I can. Like the end of the first round, where he swung and I believe missed every time, essentially.
He missed every single.
But like,
it's amazing to me how fast Floyd Mayweather still is. Like he's not as fast as he used to be.
But he would just dodge everything.
Yes, it's like instinctual for him. It's instinctual. He moves before, like it seems like before a nigga can even move his fist.
He's like, oh, I know where you're throwing that.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. And he's how old? Like 50 fucking, how old is he? Like 40 something? He's like in his late 40s. And like, I'm not gonna lie, I can fight. But like, I ain't that fast.
It's a different level.
That is a...
And that's what this match was. It was just 2 different levels. It was a guy 50-0 and a guy 0-1.
Yeah. You know, every time Floyd Mayweather fights now, I'm thinking to myself, one of these fights is going to be the fight that can, one day, if he don't slow it down, one day we're going to see him get his ass knocked out. We're going to see it one day.
Do you think you will see it one day?
Yes. It's going to happen one day. Is Floyd Mayweather one of the, probably record-wise, the greatest boxer of all time, right? We're going to see it one day because he doesn't know how to
He's going to keep chasing the money.
He's going to keep chasing the money, and one day he's going to run right into a fucking brick wall. But
I guess my question is, where would he go from here? Because he went from like Conor McGregor, which
I
was
thought Conor McGregor was going to be the last one.
I did too, for about half of it. I was like,
Conor McGregor should have been the last one. That's what I'd have done, right? But then I'm not Floyd Mayweather, right? But like 50-0 is solid. Like that's.
But I believe that this match wasn't even officially sanctioned. So if he would have lost, his record would still be 50-0.
Ah, okay. Okay then. But even so, can you imagine how fucking embarrassing it would have been if Logan Paul just caught him with like
just like a solid right
one,
that just like threw.
Yeah. Even if he like got back up, you know how fucking embarrassing that would have been? Like for real. Even if it didn't end the fight and Logan Paul knocked Floyd Mayweather on his ass.
His face.
Do you know how embarrassing it would be as a nigga to watch that?
No, but
this white man just knocked the greatest boxer of all, the who's black at that, on his ass.
Especially a defensive boxer.
A defensive boxer who prides himself on being defensive and not being hit. Do you know how nasty that would have been? Every time I watch Floyd Mayweather fight now, and he's fighting these white dudes, right? He's fighting these white dudes. And I'm like, yo, I'm scared. Like, stop. You're in for eternity. Quit.
Well, like, even though Logan Paul didn't land any of those shots in the first round, he was still overpowered. And yeah. I think maybe if there was like 30 more seconds in there, I think he just would have overpowered him to the ground because he was going at him 100%.
Yeah.
And so I think that maybe would have happened. So like,
I was scared.
Maybe. Like,
I was scared. Every time Floyd Mayweather steps out there, I'm scared now, yo. I'm scared. I'm like, yo, stop. Like, what more do you have to prove? Stop. You have all the money in the world. Quit it.
So realistically, where do you think he goes from? Because he went from McGregor to Paul. Like
that, and that's a huge downgrade. That's huge. Like,
it's like
Conor McGregor is a
fighter.
Yeah. Like,
I think when it went down in like skill level, it went up in like social awareness. And so I worry they're gonna try to find someone like bigger than him, like bigger than Logan Paul, and just be like, you now.
Yeah. I don't know. In a way, I think this is almost insulting to the sport of boxing. I'm one of those people that think it's kind of gross.
Well, two questions.
Mm-hmm.
One, what was more disgusting, this one or like the Triller event where they had like Doja Cat and like Jake Paul was fighting Ben Askren?
Both.
Do you think one was more than the other, or is it just the same?
Oh no, the Triller one I think is like trash. This one is just garbage. Yeah. Yeah, this is bad, man.
And my second question is, do you think it's going to go away? Because I don't.
No.
I think that they need it.
Yeah. And this brings more attention to the sport of boxing. But for people who are purists and enjoy boxing in a traditional sense, this is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just fucking nasty. You got Floyd Mayweather out here doing this shit. He ought to be ashamed of himself. He would be ashamed of himself doing this. Like, I mean, is he making big money off of this? Yeah, but
like, I don't know. I see both sides with it.
yeah,
Like, I think he needs to stop, but at the same time, it's like,
like
I was offered $50 million to fight Logan Paul, I'd be like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Javae goes down in the first. The fuck, like, yeah.
He walks towards you, and you're like, my leg. You're just like,
Javae goes down in the first round. And then I do the interview after. Oh, he's a really good fighter.
He really gave his best today. I was not. His skill level is out of this world, and I gave it everything I could, but just wasn't able to bring it home today.
Did you watch any promotional material for the fight? Like,
I saw clips of it. I actually didn't watch it.
This shit is just like wrestling.
Did you see the promotional interview for Ben Askren versus Jake Paul?
No, I didn't see that one. I didn't pay that one much attention.
It's amazing.
Logan's a great kid. Both stars. Both taking over the world at a young age.
Okay, so when Logan's little brother called me out, and, I thought, well, for his angle, what's he doing? And I asked some of my kids at my
Call him
academy,
Logan's little brother.
What's this guy all about? They said he's a bully, he's a dick. And so I think his angle was like, who's the easiest guy that I can pick that'll give some validity to my name? It's like, I'm gonna pick the guy who just had a surgery, who's retired, sitting on the couch.
Guy, I would have picked Dylan Dennis.
Well, we know. Dylan Dennis said no. We know.
Contract. You actually had the balls to sign the contract. So if I wanted the easiest guy, I would have picked Dylan.
Jake, you did pick Dylan. We know that. I've already went over that. You picked Dylan. I know he wouldn't do it.
But you just said I picked you.
Because Dylan wouldn't say yes, Dum-Dum.
You took it on your words, Bubba?
You picked Dylan.
You took it on your words, Bubba?
You picked Dylan. Dylan wouldn't sign the contract. Therefore, you can't fight Dylan, so you have to pick the next person.
It's like an angry 8th grader against their teacher.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wait for you to stop talking. Okay. So anyways, like, this is typical
Like-
sport behavior, but sometimes...
Like, I'm sorry, like, if you were ever in, like, a heated conversation with someone, and it's like, like, what the fuck are you doing?
This is so childish.
This is a fucking fight game. This is a fucking fight game.
This is a fight game.
Yeah, bitch. This is a fucking fight game. Yeah, I'll bully you around just like I'm gonna bully you in the ring. Shut the fuck up. You sound like a middle schooler. Oh, he's bullying me. Shut the fuck up.
I was talking to your mentality. You're not going to bully me. And you know,
Why
like,
does Ben Askren actually look like a 5th grade teacher?
Las Vegas, I wanted to do a
Right here.
homicide.
Do it right now then. We're running into each other right now.
Someone's going to stop you. You got like 27 people. Yeah. Anyway, I would do a homicide on you if I wanted to. Yeah, I'm going to have fun with this. That's what I came for. Jake,
I would do a homicide.
High little boss. Really delusional. I guess we'll find out.
You will find out.
He is so unmoved by that.
Sport of MMA. You are representing UFC. This is personal. You know, the whole MMA community.
You're trying to make me represent the sport of MMA.
You are representing the sport. Dana White is betting money on you. He's trying to get trainers to actually help you train so that you can beat me. So you are representing the sport of MMA. You are an MMA fighter. Just like I'm representing the sport of boxing because I'm a boxer. Just like I'm representing celebrities and YouTubers because I'm a celebrity and a YouTuber. So I'm
How
representing
dare
all of those things.
Against people who don't box.
You are representing.
We're YouTubers now. You don't represent me.
You can't be through Jake Paul. What's next in your boxing career?
Who is this dude? He looks crazy. Turn this off. Please.
What was that? All right, hold on. I have something to show you.
Oh my god. This is this is why I don't watch TV. There's some outlandish shit on TV.
So I do want to show you my sleep paralysis. Even.
Excuse me? He looks like a somebody in Grand Theft Auto that's gonna give you a mission.
He looks like somebody you see in Grand Theft Auto Online.
Yeah, exactly that. Oh my god. Oh my god. That close-up was not needed.
That was so jarring.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, let me get it together. We have a podcast to do. Oh man. They knew what they were doing when that was up there. Like they knew what they were doing when they put his face right there. If that ain't the between oh my god, between Jake Paul and this dude, like that's some of the most cartoonish shit I've ever seen. Yeah. That was crazy. That was crazy. You know what though? No one can say that this stuff isn't entertaining. Nobody can say that this isn't entertaining because
man. It may not be good entertainment, but it's entertaining.
Oh no, it's. Oh my goodness. Where do you see all of this going in, like, I don't know, the next 5 years maybe?
Like the boxing shows?
Yeah.
Honestly, I see it becoming about staying the same as it is, which is mildly popular.
Mm-hmm.
Like people don't like it, they're not really anticipating it, but they'll be like, all right, let's watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll continue until there's like celebrity boxing match on NBC,
mm-hmm.
where they just get different like random B-list celebrities to show up and be like, I'm David Arquette, ready to fight.
David Arquette will absolutely do that. There was some wrestling documentary about David Arquette that came out.
Isn't it like I Am David, or it's like I'm David Arquette or something like that?
Something like that. It has his name in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like several people I know are actually in that documentary.
Really?
Yes. It's when he's doing a backyard show. I forget what their promotion was called when they were running it. But they portrayed like my friends that were in there as like these shady it's like these shady promotion runners. And they got like a bunch of followers on Twitter and shit out there.
That's amazing.
But they were in that documentary. We should watch it one day. I want to find it. We can watch it.
It's on Hulu.
Okay. We can watch it, and I'll point out like everybody I know to you.
Okay. I'm for that.
They're featured quite prominently. So, like, I was just with these people like yesterday. It's hilarious.
How do they feel about it?
They really don't talk about it much. Like they talked about it a little bit when it first came out, right? And like we actually like joked about it, like, yo, like the way he made y'all look like shady is like the best shit in the world. And I would joke with him like, this makes sense because y'all are actually shady people. Oh man, but yeah, I actually want to watch it because I haven't watched it. I would like to watch it though, and when it comes up, I want to show you like everybody I know and how I know them.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I just wish I was there to meet David Arquette. That'd have been dope. Anyway, do we have anything else? Usually this is the part where I bring up like some depressing life shit and we just talk about it and harp on about it for like what 30 minutes. But you know what, dude? I'm honestly fucking happy lately. I'm really happy lately. Usually I have like a depressing thought that everybody can relate to and like it could be something to talk about. But happiness is so boring. And I think that's a part of the reason why so many people are unhappy because maybe to them in some sick way it's kind of fun because it's something to talk about. Does that make sense?
So you're saying that it's not quite something they choose to do, but they're
Right.
predisposed
Yeah.
to want to like wallow in it.
Yeah. Because wallowing in it now, like these days, is cool almost.
I mean,
like
it's always
like
like
we
that guy, right?
like we become like more aware of like mental health and all of that other shit, right? Absolutely. In recent years, everybody's become more aware of it, and people are doing more to, I guess, like combat it or talk about it and like ease the weight. But also, in a way, it's also become kind of a gimmick. You know?
What do you mean?
It's cool to be sad. It gets you more followers. It gets you more reacts. The same way with a lot of things. Like
I think that it gives it being sad and like posting about it.
right.
Like you're looking for gratification.
Yeah.
And you're not getting it from being happy.
Yeah.
Because you're not happy.
No.
So you're like, well, let me search
and most
this out.
And most other people aren't happy, right? So when they see you happy, they're like, "Oh, fuck you!" Like, you know what I'm saying? Let me ignore this. But if you're sad, my nigga, people want to wallow in that shit with you.
You're like, I'm coming over. I have a pint of ice cream.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
They want to wallow in it with you. It's something, I guess, oddly satisfying about wallowing in sadness. I don't know what it is.
I think that it kind of comes down to people don't like to do new things.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they get stuck in that mindset,
mm-hmm.
they have to break their entire mindset before they can go, like, focus their energy somewhere else.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
go ahead.
I was waiting on you.
Oh, okay. I was waiting. I don't know. I guess I just think that at the end of the day, like happiness is something you have to work towards.
Yeah, that shit is hard. I've been working towards it. That shit is hard.
It's hard, and there's a lot of stuff around you that wants to pull you off the path.
Yeah.
And it's alluring. You look there and you're like, I can lay down for 3 days?
Yeah.
Sounds sick. I'm tired of walking.
Yeah. And legit, I was having this conversation with someone who's becoming a really good friend of mine, right? And I was telling them, like, yo, a lot of people take this protagonistic view of reality, right? Like, I'm the main character, right? Things are going to fall in place for me because I'm special, right?
Mhm.
They believe that they deserve to be happy because they're them.
Yeah, I
They
can
don't,
agree.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm me, so, and I'm the main character of this story, of my story, of my truth, right? So therefore, everything has to fall in place some kind of way for me. It's going to happen. I don't have to put in any work towards this. It's just going to happen. Or I can put a minimum amount of work, and things are going to work out for me.
Yeah,
The most completely selfish outlook you can possibly have on life. All of this shit revolves around me, so thusly I can't fail at the end of this.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and the problem is that that's also something that's really alluring. Like when you're in your head all day, you want to be able to look out and be like, this is for me. This is my world to conquer. But as you grow up, you need to realize it's like, it's not about you.
It's not about you.
It's much
right?
bigger than you.
And imagine how many other people who are like dying sad right now that thought it was about them. And now they're alone. Nobody gives a shit about them. Because they were fucking selfish and stupid their whole life and thought everything was going to go their way. Some kind of one way or another, it was going to go their way. And they're dying like alone. That's sad, bro.
I'm probably going to die alone.
You're not going to die alone. I don't think you're going to die alone. You might. I don't think you are, though. I don't think you are. I don't think you're going to die alone.
I just, as I'm finally finishing up the edit for the feature movie,
mm-hmm.
which has been a process because I finished it once and then my computer crashed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I almost finished it a second time, and then my hard drive crashed and I had to recover all the files.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had like a series of very unfortunate events.
It's because I'm learning how to edit. Like,
mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I wanted to use this movie for, is to learn each step of the process. And so I've had to learn editing by doing it again and again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm reaching the end of it, I'm noticing a slight hesitation with like wanting to be done with it.
What's up?
I guess because if it's done, like then it's finished, right? Like you can't work on it anymore. You can't be like, no, I'm still, like, you have to like fully put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And like I literally made this. It makes no sense, but that's the point. Like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't ever had to do that on as big of a project as this.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I'm almost done with the edit, I'm still showing it around to like you and the other movie club and a couple other people just to like get their reaction and be like, tell me what I need to cut.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'll be done. And I'm half excited for it because I'm like, I can officially check that off and go on to the next couple of projects that we like pretty much already have lined up. We're just like solidifying the script. Mm-hmm. And then the other half is like, all right, like, is it, am I ready? Am I ready for it to be done?
Are you afraid of what comes after?
Well, I mean, I've prepared myself for a bad reception for the last year, so I guess not in that sense.
When I say reception, I don't, like when I say what comes after, I don't mean the reception, because the reception is going to be what it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
Like you could think people are going to hate it, and then it might turn out that a lot of people love it, right? Like for what it is you presented, for what it is you're presenting to them, right? What I'm asking is, are you afraid of like having to start over and do something else, or like
I think it's deeper
are,
than
are
that,
you
honestly.
are you yeah, like are you afraid of the what's next, or like this is the end of a chapter in your life, and like you're afraid to open a new one?
Honestly, it's two things.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is that when you work on a big project and it takes years to make, it becomes a part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you're doing it to where you're writing and directing and like doing every process, you kind of put your life into it.
Right.
And even though this is a like completely fictitious story, and it's like very surrealistic, it feels very personal to how I was feeling at the time, which is why the movie feels so scattered. But I guess the second reason is like I've been looking at something that I don't think is great, but I'm like trying to get it like 1% better like every day. And I guess I'm a little nervous about starting another project
Mm-hmm.
if I feel like if I'm not good enough to do that yet.
Maybe, maybe this is a reflection of, look at me thinking, I'm not a psychiatrist and nothing like that. I'm terrible at it. But maybe, maybe it's a reflection of, like you put so much of yourself into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a reflection of who you are, right? Like a reflection of like maybe every day you're trying to make yourself a 1% better, like a day at a time. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause like knowing you, I can say that I notice, like in little ways you're making strides to perfect yourself. You know what I'm saying? No one's ever going to be perfect, but
you have to try.
You have to try, right? Morally, on a moral level, that's what life is about. Biologically, you're here to reproduce. Morally, you're here to perfect yourself as a person, right? And societally, it changes by the hour, apparently. So, so it's, from what I can see, having known you since like 2013 or 2012, like shit, you're a way different person than what I remember back then.
Okay.
Right? And shit, man, I can't help but think, like, even talking to you on like a semi-daily basis, I say semi-daily, right? Like, yeah, I notice shit about you that's that like it seems like you're trying to change for the better. Little things here and there.
Yeah.
And it could be so minute that like you might not even notice it, but like I'm just like that. I notice shit in people, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just good at that. But shit, dude, I can't help it. Maybe that's a reflection of, like this project is a reflection of you.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's going to be like there isn't much in like way of plot in it, mm-hmm. because I focus more on imagery.
Mm-hmm.
But even within that, like I feel like I truly captured like myself at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, even though I'm struggling to finish this and I'm almost done with it, it's bittersweet. Because it's like, I don't want to be you anymore, but right. It's weird that I'm putting you in a time capsule.
Right. Because now I'm accepting that, like, this isn't me anymore, and I'm going on to something else. When it's been you for such a long time.
Exactly.
That's deep, man. That's heavy. That's heavy. But on some real shit, man, congratulations on like, yo, you're finally done. You know, like for better or for worse, you're done. And that's a dope thing. Like a lot of people don't have shit to their name.
And
like, a lot of people start on some shit and never finish it.
Mm-hmm.
You finished that shit.
It took a long ass time, but I
yeah. You finished it.
Like I have one scene left, and it's the big scene. It's like the 10-minute one.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I cut it down. Once we get the picture lock, that's when the composer will be in, and we're just gonna lay it out because he's very like he loves to improvise. Okay. And so like the times that we've talked about the movie, we would just go through the movie and he would just start tinkering with things. But yeah, and then once we get that and I fix some of the audio in it, it's out. And I'm just like, it is how it is. I'm proud of it.
Bro, be proud of whatever you do. You know, it's important. That's important. Like I said, I'm happy for you, man. And shit, whatever the reception, that's amazing. Fuck these people. Look, if they hate it, look at some of the shit these people love.
I mean, I honestly,
regardless.
Honestly, like, no, and I mean this because I'm proud of it. If you don't like it, I get it. Like you've seen the type of movies that like I'll recommend you.
Yeah.
And like I'll be like, watch this, and I'm gonna be like, and you'll be like, this wasn't good, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I get it. I see why you say that. And it's because it's going for something very specific. But the way I'm thinking of it is, if it is only like interesting to like 0.5%, if we get this movie out to everybody, that's still a lot of people who'll be like, hey, not bad.
Yeah. Well, man, I can't wait to start working on that shit. I can't wait to see what you did.
Oh yeah, the whole at-home thing I've been filming.
Yeah. When you presented that to me, it sounded really interesting. It was the day-by-day thing, right?
Just like showing myself a little bit every day.
Yeah.
But instead of doing like the same photo, like same face for every photo or something like that, I'm trying to do something a little more like visually interesting.
Yeah. Hey man, like I said, I can't wait to see any of this. And like I said, I know this shit. And the only thing we have no choice but to move forward from everything. No choice.
As Kid Cudi said, keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. He also said that a few more times.
Yeah. What song was that?
Reborn.
Reborn.
Is the one with him and Kanye.
Let's talk about Kid Cudi in the next podcast.
Okay.
Do you think you know what I'm going to say? I wonder.
No.
Okay. Let's talk about Kid Cudi in the next podcast, though.
We'll do that.
I think we can wrap it up here.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for watching.
Yep. If you made it this far, sometimes I wonder if people watch the whole shit. I know a few people do. I don't know if everybody watches the whole thing.
I feel like most people don't. I feel like they start in the beginning and then they'll kind of like go around. Just be like, what are they talking about here?
Yeah.
What about here?
Yeah. Well, yeah. However much you fucking watch, we appreciate it. And peace and love and all of that shit was supposed to say.
Following it up with that heartwarming message, I just want to give a giant thank you and say, please like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell
Yes, sir.
notification.
Yes, sir. That's how we're all going to make money. Yes.
Buy our merch that we don't have.
We're going to get some merch out soon. We're going to do it.
Oh,
We're going to make it happen.
are we?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you didn't know it. You didn't get them. Anyway, I'll talk to you about it. Anyway. Anyway, y'all have a good one.
You see, now they're just staring at the screen.
Yeah.
They're just like, they ended it.
Yeah.
Why? Should I click off? Should I? I didn't hit the like button. Did I hit the like button? No, let me try real quick.